He crossed 3 borders chasing a dream, a teenage goalkeeper from Senegal, lured by a promise too good to be true. Days later, his body was found in a Ghanaian morgue, stabbed and dumped like a nobody. And what began as one boy's tragic death is now a diplomatic storm pulling 3 nations into confrontation. Senegal mourning, Ghana investigating, Nigeria defending its image. Was Cheikh Touré the victim of a fake football scam or something far darker? This is the story of the goalkeeper who never managed to achieve his professional footballing goal. In the suburbs of Dakar, Senegal, football isn't just a sport, it's a way out. And for Cheikh Touré, it was everything. At just 18, Cheikh was known as the Wall, a natural goalkeeper with quick reflexes and big dreams. He'd been trying to break into an academy that could send him to Europe. Then came the message, a WhatsApp text from a man claiming to be a football scout in Ghana. He said he'd seen Cheikh's videos online and wanted to bring him for trials with European agents. To a boy chasing opportunity, it sounded like destiny. He told his mother he'd only be gone a few weeks. He packed his small bag, never knowing it was a one-way trip. When Cheikh arrived in Kumasi, Ghana, everything seemed normal. He texted home once, "I've arrived." Then, silence. Calls went unanswered, messages left unread. And then, the phone rang again, but it wasn't Cheikh. The scammers reached out to his family, asking for a ransom. They demanded money, or he would die. They sent a picture. It was Cheikh, beaten, terrified, still in his travel clothes. For days, his family scrambled to raise the money. But before they could send it, the calls stopped. A week later, workers at the Ebenezer morgue in Kumasi logged in a new body. A young man, tall, athletic, stab wounds across his stomach, bruises around his neck, unidentified. 2 men had brought him in. One claimed to be his brother. Another said it was an accident. Their stories didn't match. Police ruled it an unnatural death, and the young goalkeeper's body, the pride of his family, lay cold in a foreign morgue. The Ghana police launched a full investigation. DSP Godwin Ahianyo, regional spokesperson, confirmed that a homicide team had been deployed to Kumasi. Authorities quickly discovered that Cheikh's story wasn't unique. Several other young athletes had recently been lured to Ghana through fake football recruitment messages. Ghanaian police say they have identified 3 suspects who may be behind the murder of Cheikh Touré, men who reportedly speak Wolof and French. Investigators believe they could be part of a larger cross-border criminal syndicate, targeting young footballers from Senegal. Before Cheikh left for Ghana, he had received messages from another Senegalese player who had already made the same trip for supposed football trials and claimed the process was legitimate. That message gave him confidence. Cheikh gathered what little money his family could spare and set off, hopeful that this was his breakthrough. But now, disturbing new information suggests that the other 2 players who went ahead of him had been detained by the same group that allegedly kidnapped Cheikh. All 3 had been promised the same glittering path. Football trials in Ghana, then Morocco, and finally Europe. A dream that has now turned into a continental nightmare through fake football recruitment messages. The scam was simple and devastating. Criminal rings pretended to be football scouts, often using stolen photos of real coaches. They lured victims with promises of contracts and fame, then demanded ransom once they arrived. According to Ghanaian investigators, the network stretched across borders. This was not an accident. It was organized fraud. Our young man was deceived, extorted, and murdered, a Senegal Foreign Ministry official said. News of Cheikh's murder spread quickly through Senegal. Crowds gathered in Dakar demanding justice, waving flags and photos of the young goalkeeper. But in Ghana, anger turned elsewhere, toward Nigerian residents. Some Ghanaians accused Nigerians of bringing fraud and violence into their country. What was once a tragedy became a diplomatic firestorm. Senegal demanding answers, Ghana under pressure, Nigeria on the defensive, each nation pointing fingers. As of now, the investigation remains open. Across West Africa, fake football recruitment has grown into a multi-million-dollar underground industry, a cruel trade that preys on the dreams of young athletes desperate to escape poverty. Fraudsters posing as scouts or agents from European clubs create convincing social media profiles, complete with fake logos, player contracts, and glossy academy websites. They send out WhatsApp messages promising trials abroad or lucrative deals, then demand processing fees for visas, accommodation, or registration. Many families sell their belongings to pay, only to discover the offer never existed. Others, like Cheikh Touré, are lured across borders and vanish into networks of extortion and violence. NGOs and security agencies report that hundreds of such scams are active at any given time, with Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, and Ivory Coast identified as hotspots. It's a web of deceit that turns football, Africa's greatest hope, into a hunting ground for exploitation, leaving behind broken dreams, missing sons, and unanswered questions. Police in Ghana are still tracing the suspects and the online accounts linked to the fake football network. Senegal has vowed to pursue justice through diplomatic channels. Nigeria has condemned the profiling of its citizens, calling for fair investigation instead of scapegoating. Meanwhile, Cheikh's remains have been identified, and his family continues to fight for his return home. But justice moves slowly, and across Africa, the same fake football trial messages continue to circulate on WhatsApp and Instagram, targeting more young players every week. They sell hope. They deliver heartbreak. Cheikh Touré's death is more than a crime. It's a mirror, a reflection of desperation, deception, and the dangerous intersection of poverty and dreams. He crossed borders chasing opportunity. Now his death has drawn 3 nations into confrontation. Senegal mourning, Ghana investigating, Nigeria defending its image. He wanted to become a goalkeeper, to save goals. But in the end, no one was there to save him. And as another message pings on another young player's phone, one question remains: how many more dreams will die before someone stops the game? If you found this story important, share it. More young athletes need to hear Cheikh's story before they become the next victim. Subscribe to African Murder O'Clock for more true crime stories from across Africa. Tell us in the comments section, who do you think is truly responsible for Cheikh Touré's death? The scammers? The system that failed him? Or the football industry that preys on young dreams?